Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. Well, welcome back us.
Hang on. I need to start recording this so that we can upload it to the internet and LimeWire afterwards, so that people can download it. Just let me get my camcorder running, and we'll be good.
I do hope nobody's recording this live stream because I won't want anybody to be pirating it. Oh dear, fucking hell. So yeah, what were you just before we went live? David was telling me that what have you got something on your desktop cam that you want to show?
Yeah, I have. Go down to here, and how morbid War Cradle are.
Where is your fucking camera?
It's fucking here.
Why is it not showing in my fucking refresh? God damn you. Hang on a minute. Technical difficulties have started already.
Straight out the gate.
Copy this link. Go to properties. Paste this link. Okay. Yay! Yeah, so what is this?
War Cradle give you a little etched bit that has a human skull and some bones in for the bottom of the crematorium pan.
What's that for your terrains kit?
Yeah, from a War Cradle Wild West Exodus terrain.
That is pretty fucking morbid.
Right there.
I'll give you that. Pretty fucking morbid. I love it. Okay, well, unorthodox start. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Thank you very much for the suggestion from Tim. I now have a working live on air sign thanks to my battery pack. Well done, Tim. So yeah, sorry we weren't here last week. I felt like shit, and I still don't feel 100%, but I feel a hell of a lot better. And
I was on the way back from Ken.
David had a little bit of a whoopsie with a work-related event.
Not whoopsie. Training in Kent.
Yeah, but it didn't. The whoopsie was it didn't end when you thought it was going to end, did it?
Yeah.
So let's have a shout out to everybody in chat. Hello to Pandy. That's Paul from Pandyman Entertainment. Hello Shishark, Cheese Me, Darren, also known as Demon Sub. Check him out on Instagram. Who else have we got? Spam, David's other half. We've got Crispy Wraps. Hello, sir. Welcome. Yes. So has Darren is working on Bushido. Oh, I do like Bushido minis, Darren. Darren's doing some OSL on his Bushido. Oh, I bet that's going to look lovely. Yes. That's the shout outs done. Welcome to everybody in the chat. What was I going to say? So if you're joining, if you're new here, or if you're joining us later on YouTube, good evening. Tonight we'll follow our normal pattern or our normal format. So David and I will show you what we're working on. Because we're going to maybe try and do some hobby while we run to the stream tonight. If you are working on anything, either stick it in the chat like Darren has done, or if you're watching later on YouTube, put it in the comments below. I may just tweak my camera ever so slightly so that I'm more in the center of the frame. There we go. And then we'll tell you what we got up to at club on Monday. And then we've got some news to talk about tonight. And then
And don't forget, it's painting comp week.
Yes, we will discuss the painting comp. Limited though it was. Oh yeah, that reminds me. That's a slideshow I haven't set up. I'll do that while we're chatting. And then about 9 o'clock we're getting into our main topic, which is piracy in tabletop wargaming, and tabletop gaming in general, but specifically coming at it from the wargaming side of it. Cheesy says the car sump damaged again. No, I don't think so. He hasn't tanked his car in a while, to be fair. Chris is working on deathcore themed army for one-page rules. Go, Chris.
Good man.
Good man.
Good man.
Do you know what? We'll probably talk about that in news. Yes, I'd noticed, Pandy, that you hadn't entered for a couple of months, but don't feel bad, because even Darren didn't send me anything this month.
What?
Dum, duh.
I'll tell you what we need. We need the shame from Monty Python.
Shame. I'll have to get a little.
Your shit is always good.
A little overlay. Yeah. To be fair. Yeah. Do you know what? I did think it was something that wouldn't exactly. The problem with Darren is every time he paints something, it is like the most unique, sort of like eye-catching, great thing, and it's like, can Darren paint something generic fillerish? No, don't do that. The closest, I suppose, was the bugs for Bug Hunt that you did about 2 months ago. So that would have been a bit unfair to enter them now. They were probably the most generic thing I've ever seen. I've seen you paint for ages. So yeah, where do we start? So let's start with what I'm working on. Let's put it this way, if I do any work at all, which is, unlikely.
You barely work ever.
Yeah, I know. To be fair, I can still do that stream where I actually got that basing done. Was like, oh my god, I actually did something during live stream. What the fuck? So let's go. So Batman, Gotham City Chronicles by Monolith. We have a shit ton of stuff to get through. So I'm gonna paint some of these goon minis, I think. I've got everything in this tub. This is everything that I need painted for the first mission. Yeah, there's a lot of shit. So,
nice. Fuck off.
What do we think, guys? Let's do these guys, because we've got various assorted goons, and we've got them in sets of 4.
Have you got goon number 1, 3, 4, and then generic goon 5 through 8?
Well, you have goon with like Uzi pistol. You have goon with crowbar and beanie hat. You have goon with chain bracelets. And then you have.
That's the thing. It always tends to be fucking raining in Arkham.
You
ever noticed that in all of the Batman movies? It's always fucking raining.
Yeah, well, Gotham's always grim and raining.
It's obviously Wales.
We've got chubby goon with rubber shotgun that's completely bent. I've got 4 of him. And then we've got weird goon with Court of Owls masks and suits. So I think we'll do the pistol guys. So I need some suggestions on colours, people. And I'm not painting
neon pink, red and white. Off we go.
Red, white, and neon pink, eh?
Well, we're going with gay Santa.
I'm not painting them like fucking Santa.
You are painting gay Santa.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Where's Santa with his pride flag when you need it?
That's what I'll be doing. If I do any painting at all, just be some quick base coats.
Spam has seconded my suggestion.
Yeah, well,
just saying.
Second off. I'm not painting. I don't mind putting. I'll tell you what. We'll go with, what did you say? Neon pink what?
Neon pink, red and white.
I'm going to turn my microphone down because I think I'm clipping, and I'm going to turn you down a little bit as well.
Don't turn me off.
Neon. I probably will go with the pink. Have we had some more sensible colours? No. Hot pink. No.
80s pastels.
Pastel colours for Gotham goons. Is that really a thing? I don't see the pastel colours. I mean, I can see pastel colours working for some of Catwoman's weirder costumes in the various comics and other things, but it doesn't scream to me, you know, the Batman,
The gritty
Arkham City fucking look. Then again, the other problem could be that we end up doing something that's too generic, but then again, the goon models.
You are disappointing Spam. She's been asking for over a year for a Santa Mini on the stream, and the disappointment is real. You're letting down your fans, Paul. We can do that for a Christmas special, boys and girls. We'll find the most generic, weird, fucking fantasy Santa Minis we can, and we'll paint them for a Christmas special.
I'll paint that Christmas goblin. Sound? I've still got that Christmas goblin. I quite like Shark's suggestion there. Black trousers, white shirt, electric blue jacket. I'll tell you what as well. I don't know if you can see it, but these jackets on these guys, they've got like that 70s donkey jacket look where it looks like the shoulders and the back are overlaid at the top. You can just about see the seam there. So I wonder if I could do a two-tone like black and blue.
You could do black and red, and then it'd be in Harley's colours.
Black and red.
Because Harley's red, white, and black.
True.
And you have got a Harley Mini, have you not?
I've got Harley, yeah.
Cheese me, what the fuck is Russian green? And it's like, is it like Russian uniform from Timu? You peasants. Oh, Ewok, I love you.
Oh dear.
Viva la Santa!
You see. Fucking don't go taking...
I would be painting tonight, but unfortunately Spam has my wet palette.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Or maybe doing. Do you know what, Shark? I like it. I do like it. I think I'm gonna go with that black blue. I'm sure we can, because again, I don't paint with a lot of blues.
Council workers' coats.
Paint them. Oh, I tell you what, I could do. We could do like, because Vallejo do the glossy black. We could literally do the donkey jacket with the matte black, like felt.
And what? And then padded gloss leather patent shoulder.
Yeah. So it's literally like a one of those awful 70s donkey jackets. Yeah, I was looking at he's got some insane comb over quiff. So yeah, platinum blonde hair. Okay, I think we'll go with that. Yeah, I think so. Which will probably be, I'll use some really ridiculous like ice yellow base coat and then put a wash on it.
Sand yellow.
Sorry?
Sand yellow.
Sand yellow, you reckon?
Yeah. I do reckon. I can't fucking hold this. This is too small.
So, that's what I'm up to. What are you up to, buddy?
I'm currently swearing profusely. Let me get this little thing in the hole and then I'll show you what I'm all working on. There we go. She's in. Shut up, cunt.
Oh, dear.
Are you coming down then?
Yeah, hang on a minute. I'm just looking at the... Yeah, no, I think the blue jacket's a better shout. I could do the classic donkey jacket and jeans thing, but I think the blue jacket will work better. So, okay, we're building...
Tonight, we are building a crematorium. Little bit morbid.
Yeah.
This is the inside of the creme, boys and girls. This is the detail inside a War Cradle Scenics building.
I didn't realise they had a creme in the... which set is it that you've got?
The Red Oak has a crematorium.
That's cool.
Let me see if I can find the finished picture over here somewhere. No. Fucking hell, she goes on for a while. But she's over there, boys and girls.
Oh, da da da. That looks pretty cool. It's not a big building, but there's a lot going on it.
There's an awful lot going on. I mean, this is the interior, for fuck's
No,
sake. The interior.
no, hang on a minute, Shark. We're getting a bit fucking Miami Vice now. We're not going for sparkly electric, metallic.
Oh yes! What you need is the gunmetal blue, the metallic gunmetal blue that Vallejo.
For Vallejo, yeah, no, we don't need that at all.
Spam, are you painting in the bath? But yeah, I've got interior levers and shit to put in now, boys and girls. So I'm going to fiddle around with these. But yeah, that's what I'm up to. Getting some War Cradle Scenics done because I'm thinking, my fellow War Cradle compatriot,
yes,
we should try and get a game in before Christmas.
What of Exodus?
Yes,
we definitely should. Because I mean, particularly now I've got painted minis. I need to sit down with you and probably work out what I'm going to do to make a full list though, because I don't know how it works, list building in Wild West Exodus. I don't know if anybody else has any idea. But I ain't got a fucking clue, mate.
Right.
Painting in the bath. No, that's just code for painting in the bath. Jeez me.
I feel a little bit sick.
Fucking, I got a minute. I'm just reaching over here because I tell you what. Oh my god.
Have you got a sick bucket to hand?
No, do you know what, Shark? I tell you what we could do, mate. We could, if we were feeling mad, lad. I do actually have the Maguro pale blue and silver sort of like metallic from Turbo Dork.
Is that a colour shift?
I don't know if it is. I think it's just literally an electric. It's like a metallic pastel blue. So they will literally look like lounge fucking... They'll look like they're wearing lounge jackets from the seediest 1980s fucking nightclub.
What Turbo Dog did you say it was called?
Maguro, Maguro.
Blue? Is it Maguro Blue?
Yeah, I'm really not sure that's what I was going for. But shall we do it?
Go. Let me go find.
Shall we do it?
Come on, Turbo Dog, load, bastard.
Best applied over a white undercoat. Well, we've got a very pale grey. Do you know what?
It says, for the most vibrant results, please use Maguro over similarly coloured base coats such as a light blue. It may also be used over other base coats such as white or black for differing effects.
So basically, if I do like a sky blue,
yeah,
model colour sky blue undercoat,
and then put that shit over the top.
Go on then. I've talked myself into it. This is probably going to be a massive regret. But we'll go with it. Oh my god.
Stick some rhinestones on the jacket, Paul.
Jesus Christ. What have I agreed to do? To be fair, they do have these sort of like Miami Vice fucking 1980s Uzi machine pistols. So I suppose I should just lean into it.
So, boys and girls.
Yeah.
8:20 on a Thursday. Is it news o'clock or is it time to talk about the painting comp?
Well, let's mention Club in passing because we haven't got much to say. So this week at Club we had our last episode.
The finale. Hemlock Vale.
The climactic scenario for the Feast of Hemlock Vale for the Arkham Horror Living card game, and
Mother
basically,
Rachel certainly climaxed, didn't she? As she
fuck me,
took that shotgun to the face. Fucking hell, that was brutal,
it was
dude.
it was a mixed evening. We had some success because I changed my Mark Harrigan deck into I had an absolutely ineffective shit deck that wasn't doing anything. And then I changed it up so that I basically was a shotgun maximum damage deck, and I was just blowing shit literally into atoms. Unfortunately, we'd lost so much ground earlier in the campaign. Holy shit, we got. Actually, that's not fair. We had a good start. The prelude went well. I felt because it was a really
Even
weird.
the main event was going okay.
It was one of those Arkham Horror. For people who haven't played Arkham Horror Living card game, obviously you have your character card and you build your deck and you play your deck against the game's shenanigans. In this scenario, though, the game was actually stripping your deck, so it took your character card away and gave you a generic one, and then it emptied a load of cards out of your deck into this sort of like massive abyss deck. So it was, so you basically had to drag your crap back out so that you could use it, and we started off really well, but yeah. It fucking quickly unraveled. When the big boss spawned, it was like, no, okay, we're just gonna get fucking dead by inches here. So in basically the ritual was completed, the world was destroyed, and we all became food for the fucking great old ones. So
we were happy because it was really colourful while we died.
yeah, we died in a sort of like radiance.
It was described, I think, as a brilliance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it may have looked like brilliance, but it fucking didn't feel like brilliance. It felt like we were getting absolutely fucking owned by Cthulhu.
I think the other thing me and Paul have taken away from this campaign, it has been nice to have a campaign where there's been 3 or 4 of us playing.
Yeah.
But we definitely need more committal and consistency across the games, because there's a couple that we've done really well when we've just 2-played it.
Yeah.
And as Arkham is Arkham, you go up to 4 players and suddenly everything gets a lot worse, a lot fucking quicker.
Yeah.
So I think we said the next one we're going to do it like a 3-player level, aren't we?
Either that, or we might just do the 2 of us.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It'll be 2 or 3 of us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it basically just do a fixed number of players. It was really great to have it at club and to have guys dropping in and out. But I think next time we run Arkham, I was actually thinking, because Luke seemed really interested in doing it again. I wondered whether actually that's a good shout. Whether we get you, me, and Luke and like do it on the Saturdays, make it a Saturday thing. Maybe give it a couple of months break. Maybe do it in the new year.
Yeah, I was going to say probably do it February, March time.
Yeah.
And give it a good
6
month rest and then go from there.
Yeah. Where am I? I'm going into pictures. Pictures. So, we had the painting competition. And the subject was core. Now, I'm a complete idiot, so I literally forgot to take my models with me on fucking Monday to club, so that didn't go well.
I didn't get my shit done with training, being in what's it called, Kent and holiday and everything else, so I unfortunately didn't enter this month. But just while we're padding for time, and you're
yeah, I've got it ready, so you carry on, mate.
While I was away in the Lake District, I educated Spam on Arkham Horror, the board game, and that was a very enjoyable experience. We played 2 games on 2 of the nights, and Arkham being Arkham, had our asses handed to us. Played 2 campaigns actually, Paul, that I haven't played at all yet. One was the Ithaqua's Children with the Yeti,
Okay.
that had terror in it. That was actually quite a weird one because you end up spawning a big bad very early on.
Okay.
That starts fucking the map up and makes it a fucking nightmare. So I played as Calvin. Who did you play as, Spam? Because I can't remember.
You love Calvin.
I love Calvin.
I tell you what, next time we play Arkham card game, I'm building you a fucking Calvin deck, and you will hate it. You will say to me, "What the fuck?" In fact, we'll probably do a standalone. We'll do one of the single standalone scenarios like Murder at Excelsior. And because I know you will not want to play him in a campaign. He is fucking hard mode.
The second time we played, me and Spam managed to chew through 6 Arkham Horror characters.
Fucking hell! 6 in one scenario.
In one scenario between 2 of us, we went through 6 player characters. So, pain comp, sir.
Right. The winner, by a landslide, because he was the only fucker that was organised enough to bring his models and actually enter, was V. So well done, V, who's currently painting a Wood Elf army for the old world. So obviously they're not based, but do you know what? If you're the only fucker that enters a competition, easy win. Well done, you. So yeah, V was technically the winner because he well, not technically the winner, actually the fucking winner, because he's the only person who brought any models. For core, although I was ill at the end of the month and this wasn't a plan, but I actually obviously painted my Wild West Exodus lawmen at the beginning of the month. So I've put some pictures of what I would have taken with me if I'd have been. To be fair, Monday was a horrible day because we had to have our eldest dog put down because he was 14 and whole host of health issues, blind, deaf, back problems. Won't go into it, but it was time to say goodbye. So obviously I was a little bit out of sorts, hence why I forgot to take my fucking models to club. And so this is what I would have put in for core.
Hey, at least you had a legible excuse. I did most of my worms and then went, yeah, fuck it, can't be asked.
The only thing, these photos are a bit overexposed because I've got a brand new light box because I broke the contact on my other one. It was only a cheap piece of crap off Amazon and I'd had about 2-3 years out of it, so I'm not too gutted. I've upgraded myself to a nice shiny bit better one, but I haven't quite got the lighting and the exposures yet. Everything's a little bit overlit, so I plan to have a little bit of a play with it this weekend and get it controlled. The only thing I wasn't sure about with this paint scheme was the green, the sort of pastel lime green colour.
It works, dude.
But do you know what? Once I'd got the Agrax Earth shade and the bloody washes on it, I thought it looked fine. You know, these are steampunk after all. They're not supposed to look super real. And I've got. I will put a project up on OTT. I'm so behind with my crap that I need to get a finger out and put some stuff up on Tabletop. But I've got the character models as well photographed. So Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and the guy with the big sort of like rifle shotgun thing, the heavy trooper from the old version. It's a little bit overexposed for me, Shark. Maybe, again, I'm not a photographer, I'm a pharmacist, but it doesn't look quite right to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but there you go. So yeah, There you go. That's painting competition. Now then, somebody has already asked, Chris has asked, and I think Darren asked, what's the theme for next month? Do you know, mate, off the top of your head?
I fucking literally looked it up earlier because I know exactly what I'm painting for it.
Okay.
But I forgot it, so bear with me a
Fucking
minute.
hell. Oh, look at this. We're professionals.
Your theme for October is Omen.
Okay.
That
Omen.
is Omen. Yes.
So then, phone overheating. Fucking
Let
hell.
me just lean
Shut
under
up.
my table.
So guys, just to clarify, that means go away notifications. I want the calendar. That means that the next painting competition will be Monday the 4th of November. We will actually have the models at club for us. So it'll be the stream on Thursday the 7th of November when we will be sort of discussing it and bringing in any community entries. If you want to send a picture in, then you can either message me, DM me on the On Tabletop Discord server if you're a member of the On Tabletop crowd, which you should be if you're not. Or there is a Gmail address, I believe, in the description under the videos that you can email it to there. Yeah, I can see everybody's... Look, we've got people doing Omen, Oman. Yeah, puns and gags are definitely
Puns are
allowed.
widely accepted.
Yeah, don't, you know, if you want to sort of do a play on words or do something that's a twist, that's cool. Omen is the official category, but you know, being imaginative is not a bad thing.
Well, I've got some Mythic Battles Ragnarok minis to paint. I'm sure I can find an Omen somewhere in there. One of the monsters.
Omen. So come on, mate, inspire us. What am I going to paint for that? I mean, to be fair, omens are a real Greek myth thing as well, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. We could just do a mythic off.
Could.
Feels a little bit of a cop out for us to both do the same. And seeing as I had that idea first, you need to fuck off my lawn and go get your own idea.
True. Very true. I don't know. Omen. Omen. Tell you what. I've just had harakiri delivered, haven't I? I wonder if there could be like a Chinese priest or something in that harakiri box that might fit the bill.
I've also just had another thought, seeing as I was already getting roasted earlier in chat for it. Assassin from Assassin's Creed? That's a pretty fucking telling omen, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You can do Ezio. Yeah. Harakiri Blades of Honor, cheese me. Yes. It is. But yeah, I'm talking about Harakiri the Blades of Honor, the new board game, set in sort of historical, sort of pseudo-historical fantasy, historical Japan.
Oh look, Spam's already lost herself for...
Drogo could work. I tell you what, Miri Mazdur would be a better pick. If you've got a miniature for Miri Mazdur, paint her. Because obviously she's the blood
I think
witch.
I might have bought her that for a birthday.
Because she's the
I
blood
bought one of the
witch
expansions.
that ultimately basically screws Daenerys over by killing Drogo with the poultice, the poison poultice on his chest wound, and forcing him to be, and then killing him and then bringing him back from the dead as a comatose. There you go. So Miri Mazdur would be genius for you. That would be a genius paint. Good job. Right, we have 25 minutes. Shall we do some news? This could get... Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Shall we just check the salt shaker? Because this could get spicy.
Is it ready?
Just let me check.
Paul and David, have you guys in Spam played that happy animal game you featured like 6 weeks back? Are you on about Everdell? Shark. Because me, Spam, and Paul did play Everdell, what, about 6 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Was it as long ago as that? It probably was.
It was, because we didn't really meet up in September, did we?
Was it the card-based game, Shark? Yeah, it'll be Everdell, mate. We played tons of Everdell.
Yeah. Spam. It's the taking part, and weird entries are cool. So you're entering.
Okay, so
you're being bullied into it.
For some reason, the salt shakers aren't working.
You broke them last week with Tim, didn't you?
Apparently, yeah. And I don't quite know how.
It's a shame, because I needed it.
Loop. Restart when it becomes active.
I'm not shouting out your age on stream because you'll have my balls in a vice, darling. Problem solved.
Okay, anyway. Whatever. I'll work out why those aren't working some other time. That's very strange. So yeah.
Strange.
Where are we? Content. Web browser.
I would like to have a serious word with Whaling Games. Why the fuck don't you number your fucking sprues to make finding shit 10 times easier? Oh no, you got to play guess the fucking shape.
To be fair, they do, they do have problems with their fucking.
All they've got to do is just etch a number by it. But no, can't do that. Can't make your life easier. Wouldn't want you assembling the kits too quickly. Would we now? Why would we want that?
Right.
Oh, anyway, gloss.
Honestly, Shark. So, now then, hang on, Shark. Do you mean if you mean the miniatures based one, which is Burrows and Badgers? Well, it doesn't actually matter what I'm going to say, but both are good games. If you are a miniature war game man and that is your bag, the game that you are thinking of, where you have like the little anthropomorphic tortoises and dogs and birds, and obviously your war band is fighting, and you've got guys with little flintlock pistols and swords and that sort of stuff, and magic and wizards. That's Burrows and Badgers. If you're talking about the card-based board game where it's got beautiful artwork of little animals and you build a city run by little animals, so you've got like a frog who works as a timber merchant and a rabbit who runs the general store, that's called Everdell. Both are very good games, but in different ways. Not the multi-award winning Moonstone, which does have some animals in it, but it has some other weird shit in it.
Fairies, pirates, vampires, thralls.
Right, mate, come on. This first one is yours.
Frost City! I've backed the other two of this, and Mr. Man.
Rafael Moreno Dominguez. I was looking at that. Sorry? Hang on. Hang on. Talk for me, David. No. Yeah, David's sound has gone. David.
Since when am I just the other one, cheese me?
Okay, try that.
Is that any better, boys and girls at home? I'm back. Right, what I was saying. Third Kickstarter now from guy in Spain that Paul shouted the name out for. He does
Rafael
a lot of
Moreno
very
Dominguez.
cool miniatures for.
I mean, look at. Well, I was going to say, you can even, because obviously you can have vampire versions of your wizard in one of the supplements. Talk again, mate. Fuck me, what's going on?
Is it because you scroll and it's taken from the audio source on the web page, maybe?
Don't
I don't know.
No. Okay, hang on then. Maybe that is something that's happening. So when I click off to actually...
it disappears.
But why would that be?
Priority settings on the stack, maybe? Or maybe it's because he's talking bollocks?
No, I think... Okay, so we've got an issue there where when I click... I'm just going to minimize... I'm going to minimize the OBS window.
There we go. Is that... Can boys and girls at home hear me while I'm chatting bollocks about Kickstarter?
Yeah, I think everybody can hear you now. But if I minimize that, I'm going to keep talking, David.
Yeah, we go. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'm guessing nobody can hear you right now.
But we'll see what happens. It is what it is. It's a piece of shit.
Huh, that's fucking awkward. Because it means that I can't actually interact with my fucking web browser without losing David. Which is shit. There you go then.
No, fuck
Oh,
me.
fuck.
Anyway.
We'll just keep on. I'll have to watch it back and see if I can work out what's going on. So, yeah, keep talking, mate. I'll keep showing everybody the stuff. There's fucking tons of cool STLs in here, isn't there? I love these constructs. So you're going to back this one because you backed all the others, yeah? Fuck! Your audio's...
Yeah, it's just roll with it, mate.
Fuck this. Right, okay. How can I get round it? I don't think I can.
It's when he scrolls. Can't even blame the old PC.
Yeah. It's definitely got something to do with when I go into the browser. Oh, hang on a fucking minute. Hang on a fucking minute. Why is your camera... Hang on a minute. What the hell is going on here?
No,
Okay.
hello there.
Right. The web browser's up. Just talk for me, David. Yeah, it's
Testing,
picking up.
testing,
It's
1, 2,
picking up
3.
your audio.
Testing.
Fuck's sake. Okay. Right. Well, we'll just have to skip to the video, and then I'll skip to the tab, and then come back to OBS as quickly as possible, and maybe that will fix it. If you're watching later on YouTube and you are an OBS expert and you have got any fucking idea what's going on, because this never happened in any previous iteration of OBS that I've ever worked with, then just put it in the comments how the fuck I stopped this happening, because it's really, really fucking annoying. Right, mate, get your ranting hat on. So this was a video that we pulled out. It popped up in YouTube. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it. This is Matt from Mini Wargaming, who's basically done a why you should not 3D print at home video. When I watched it, I thought it was a little bit melodramatic. Is that the fairest way to put it?
Yeah, it ground my gears, to say the least.
I don't think it really... I just thought it was a daft thing to do. I just thought it's a daft video to make. I mean, I know that 3D printing is not for everyone, but to actually come out and sort of like almost don't do it. It's like, that's a bit extreme, Matt. Really.
Yeah,
mate.
but the
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Right. Shall we? It's so clickbaity.
I'll see
starters.
if I go on, but ultimately, David's the expert on this, so his opinion is going to be way more valuable than mine. So go on, mate? I asked you to watch the video.
The elements that he talks about in the video are inherent risks with 3D printing. You are working with chemicals, you are working with UV light sources that are already proven to give you cancer, etc. However, it is mentioned very briefly at the start of the video that yes, Mini Wargaming does do the Mini Wargaming Forge. They have an entire dedicated fucking YouTube channel to it that they've not released any content for 10 months, but we'll gloss over that because he's sat there bitching and moaning about the fact that he's put an eye wash station in and like his local governments had to make him earth and bond and ground the racks that the electricals are on. Again, don't fucking drink the resin, shit like that. He talks about having 2 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
Most people that have hobbies have things that are inherently risky. If you go skydiving, you don't just jump out the fucking plane without a parachute, do you not?
Well, no.
Right then. So, again, it's part and parcel of it being risky. Yes, some of this is related to early adoption and things may change, but just for fuck's sake, why did it need to be so clickbaity? He's just... it really ground my fucking gears. It's 15 minutes of my life that I will never get back.
I just think going on about stuff like, you know, how to dispose of...
The biggest thing that pisses me off with what he said was, he says about disposing of resins properly, about disposing of the liquid component of resins properly, and about soft resins properly. He mentions it literally as a footnote about water washable resins need to be treated with the same respect. Literally a footnote. He sat there bitching and moaning about this isopropyl alcohol and the chemical-based UV resins, right?
Yeah.
The water washable stuff is just as bad because people are pouring that shit down their drain to go to the normal sewers.
Yeah. Do you know? How the law stands in this country for things like disposing of your own resin in a domestic setting?
Can't really say.
Okay.
Is the honest answer.
I just wondered if you...
Technically, could be classed as a similar thing of take it to the local tip and put it with your oil-based paints, etc. Because certain tips up and down the UK have places that you put council-based waste and deal with the disposal of it. But again, the other thing that he distinctly lacks to mention, right?
Yeah.
He mentions about 2 degrees of separation for your printer. And yes, I am in agreement of don't maybe have it in your bedroom. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the T-shirt. But the biggest issue is fucking, what's it called? He has a print farm with multiple printers. Yeah. He has about 30 Saturn 4s just sat on racking around a room.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be way fucking worse. So I can understand your local fucking environmental protection agency in America has gone, actually, yeah, we need to sort this out and do this properly and by the book. Just
yeah. I mean,
pisses me off.
Yeah. It's everybody said it in the comments. Everybody's just said it's like it's internet clickbait, and I think the problem is the whole tone of the video was wrong. If he'd have said, we in Canada as a business, this is some of the stuff we have had to consider for 3D printing, that was totally fair enough, because it's got to be
it'd be done as an educational point of view.
Exactly. And it's even if he was saying, if you're thinking of doing this commercially here in Canada, this is what we had to do, just to sow food for thought. But the way it opens up with like, don't do this at home, and it's like you say, the 2 degrees of separation, for fuck's sake. Yeah. No, stop. You know, everybody takes risks. And again, some of the stuff was valid, like, you know, consider pets and kids. They don't necessarily have the common sense not to drink stuff. You know, yeah, fine.
It's again the reason why my son is allowed in my room with my 3D printers. But my son is supervised. He has been told explicitly, when the printers are running, the door is closed. He is not to come in unless I am in here. Yeah. Because I have an FDM printer running at 200 degrees, which could give him 3-degree burns. And I have a resin printer pumping out all sorts of volatile organic content.
Yeah. Like you say, the video the information in the video was not wrong, but the whole fucking push of it was completely wide of the mark. Because ultimately the video
at the end as well. He goes, well, if you're not going to print at home, consider using our web store, and then it's free shipping worldwide. And just fucking grow up. If you're going to shill, do shilling.
I mean, again, I've only recently got a mask for using with my airbrush. I mean, I'm just sitting here fucking breathing in nebulized dried paint flakes that are swirling in the air around me. I know it's a bad idea, but ultimately I don't care that much, and it's me. No. Do you know what I mean? I think
fuck me, if we were never going to take risks, you might as well all just fucking pack your cars up and go home now, boys and girls, because that's the most risky thing you'll ever fucking do in your life.
I'll be honest, Shark says it as well. I think the fact that Canada is not, I think, representative of the vast majority of like the West. or civilization. They are an extremely authoritarian and risk-averse culture, aren't they? Particularly in terms of work. That's certainly the vibe I get from what I've seen about Canadian working practices. Yeah. I mean, again, fucking hell. It's like the other thing. There were some things in the video that, as a healthcare professional, I'm like, fuck off. It's like isopropyl alcohol, 99.9% being bad for you, or avoiding skin contact. No, number one, isopropyl alcohol IPA is not proteinaceous, so the risk of it triggering a true allergic reaction is minimal because it's got no nitrogen residues. Second,
it'll trigger your dermatitis if you've got it.
Second, the biggest risk you run is it's just going to draw all the oils out your skin because, hey, it's a solvent. So yeah, it's a bit like fucking keeping your hands in hot water for 2 hours. It will dry the shit out of them. But you know what?
The bleach that you use to clean your toilet.
Do you know what? Get yourself a pocket pack of Nivea. Just re-moisturize after handling it. Do you know what I mean? Some of the stuff that in the video was absolutely factually nonsense. IPA is not a super toxin. It isn't dangerous to handle.
Well, if it was a super toxin, they wouldn't be using it in fucking first aid wipes, would they?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
He maketh a valid point. Do you know what I mean?
Let me step down off my soapbox a minute, because
it's fucking
15 minutes of my life wasted that I'll never get back.
Right, quick change and then back to the OBS just in case David's audio vanishes. Fucking awesome. I love this setup. So both Ninjon and it'll come up in a minute. Miniac have done quite good videos this week. Ninjon, his video is about painting goggles, magnifiers, and it's great to see somebody who's not
an old man.
Well, somebody who's a real flag waver for painting on the internet talking about magnifiers, and he's latex. Now you see, latex is a natural substance, so because it's proteinaceous and contains nitrogen, it is likely to trigger allergies, and latex allergy is extremely common. Isopropyl alcohol allergy, however, I've never heard of. So
bullshit.
Anyway, brilliant, a great video. It's so cool to see somebody waving the flag for magnifiers. I always say to people when who's starting to paint miniatures right at the beginning of your model painting career, the first thing to work on is being able to see what you're painting, and there are two elements to that: lighting, and your eyesight. Okay, if you can see what you're painting, you will get on so much better with painting it, and being able to see the target is more important than what paint you use, what brush you use, whether you're using a wet palette, dry palette. These sort of things, like being able to see what you're doing, is way more important, because the problem is most people at the beginning get it wrong. They'll go and buy their 6 Games Workshop colours, 3 brushes, a wet palette or a fucking dry palette tile, whatever, and then they'll paint on their kitchen table under the same lights that they eat their fucking dinner. Nah, it ain't gonna work. You can't paint anything that way.
Even Spam, who's just getting into the hobby, I've got Spam a decent light for her birthday.
Yeah.
Because it makes the world of fucking difference.
That's it. That's it, David. Yeah, everybody that you've used fucking IPA wipes on, you've sort of like you've basically scarred them for life, mate. That's it.
Yeah,
Fucking
they're
load of
they're going to
bollocks.
sue you in your ass now
Load of
because
bollocks.
you've given them cancer.
To be fair, I'm surprised you still use wipes. We don't use wipes during vaccinations, for example, because obviously, I think because you basically take away the good bugs on the skin. I think there was a meta study that showed that the use of wipes could actually increase injection site infections. Obviously, when you're cannulating, you're normally in a secondary care environment, I'm assuming. So, it's probably a lower risk. But for us at the front line, we don't use wipes. We only clean
Teach
skin.
me learn a new word.
We John, we
We're educational here.
we only clean skin when it's visibly dirty. Oh well, you jammy bastard. Oh, that's why I wish I could afford to retire. Fucking hell. All right, here we go. Let's run the gauntlet. So yes, in answer to Shark's question, he said Ninjon seems really good. My 2 cents on Ninjon. There are very few YouTube painters whose channels I subscribe to, videos I watch. I like Ninjon because he does high-end painting, but he also does really accessible, realistic videos like this, which is a video that just says, if you haven't thought about it, get yourself some cheap fucking magnifiers for $20 off Amazon, because they will help you paint, particularly miniatures and smaller things. The only thing I would say, and again, I totally back his conclusion, if you don't have a set of magnifiers, buy a cheap set and try them. The only thing...
Yeah, don't go out and spend a load of money on something that you don't get on with.
The only thing I don't necessarily agree with Ninjon says that you can use them and sometimes and not others. I found once I use them a lot, my depth perception adjusts to the magnification, and when I'm not wearing them, my depth perception and brush control are off. So I find it better to wear them all of the time when I'm painting, even if I'm doing jobs like airbrushing, because I'm acclimatized. Because your hand-eye coordination is a thing that builds up, and it locks in. Once you start using them and not using them, you can be all over the place. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, cheese me. Yeah, I don't paint without them now. So yeah, as I said, Miniac actually did quite a good video. I'll be honest, I've not been the greatest fan of Miniac's content for a while. I haven't watched his videos assiduously. They either tend to be...
What the fuck, Crispin? Where did that even come from, Crispin?
What the fuck? Oh my god. So yeah, Miniac's videos are a bit hit and miss for me. Sometimes they're a bit frivolous, sometimes they're a bit too GW centric and a bit pointless, and I don't really get them. Sometimes they seem a bit indulgent, but this one's actually quite a good one. So if you haven't, go and give it a check out. Basically, it's like 10 tips, or it's a bit of an all over the place video, to be fair.
Is it a bit ADHD ridden?
It's just little snippets of good advice, like what the first one, which the title derives from, is basically saying that contrast paints and that sort of thing, they're great, but they will stop you developing your painting skill. And he is right, because they're a bit like a drug. They're really addictive. You get stuff done quickly, and that becomes quite habit forming. And then for somebody to say, yeah, but you haven't really got the contrast there and you haven't pulled out the highlights, and you're like, no, but I have painted 70 miniatures in 4 hours. So fuck off with your highlights and your contrast.
Unless fucking hell, my chair. What just happened?
Fucking, oh dear.
What just happened?
Oh my god! So the chat we've got, I don't even want to get into fucking chat. We've got hand jobs and magnifiers and oh my god.
Oh, I know what happened. I caught the lever and it locked up.
Fucking hell.
Oh.
Quick. Oh no, not that one. That one. Last of all, obviously there was I tell you what, something that's becoming a bit of a regular in a depressing way is people making videos about how fucking hard it is for them to run their channels on YouTube now. And old Zorp has been going through it.
Yeah, but didn't Zorp like emigrate to New Zealand as well?
Zorp, I'll be honest, again, Zorp is not a channel I'm massively into, because his sort of like, I'm going to make the biggest, most insane thing anybody's ever seen, is like not really for me. Yeah, well done. You built something that is like 12 foot tall and 15 foot wide. I'm never going to build that because I don't have a fucking aircraft hangar to put it in, you loon.
Would you like a medal? Speaking of which, Crispin's here. Crispin is the Texas version of Zorp. We have just established that this evening.
That's fucking true.
Anyway, is the Battlestar Galactica going for you, Crispin?
Basically, Zorp made a video about a month ago, I think it was, or 2 months ago, because what's happened is, I think basically he ran an internet business selling hobby and stuff in Australia and that, and that's tanked or gone under, and now his YouTube is his only income, and it's not working. And do you know what? I think the problem he's got is, his video explains it really well. If you're into YouTube, this video is worth a watch. The sort of like the end of Zorp video 2 or part 2 or whatever it is. Because he explains about how the algorithm completely fucks your channel unless you stick to one thing and only one thing. If you try to make any kind of mixed or eclectic content might not appeal to the same 6 people all of the fucking time, you haven't got a chance of making it on YouTube. And the more I see these videos popping up, the more I wonder at people who keep trying it. The signs are there that YouTube is not a mechanism to reliably make money unless you are literally, your job is to play the algorithm. If your job is to make whatever content YouTube needs to make you money, that's a job. To use YouTube to push your content that has another agenda that's not YouTube's, just don't expect that to make you any money on YouTube. Monetize some other way. Please, people, for fuck's sake.
I was going to say, we only mentioned the other week, Mel, bless him. With his.
What's that, mate?
Yeah. With Mel the other week.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, again, you know.
At this point, give it up.
Yeah. Well, and I, just to be clear, I would never say to anybody, give up YouTube. Give up the idea that YouTube will pay your mortgage and your bills. Yeah. You might be able to use YouTube to monetize something else that will pay your mortgage and your bills, but YouTube will not do that. That's not what it's for.
No,
unless you're making 5-minute fucking prank videos down your local mall where people get stabbed or attacked. You know, they'll go viral every time and you'll be making millions. Or like Mr. Beast, where you're fucking, I don't know, doing some sort of like stupid shenanigans in a Target store with a trolley. Yeah, that's what you need to do to make money on YouTube. So please, can we not see any more of these fucking videos of these people who are going, oh, do you know what? YouTube's a bit fucking hard to make money on. You don't fucking say. Right, are we done? There is always OnlyFans, Crispin. I knew Crispin would mention OnlyFans.
We've got... It's only paints, Crispin. You're missing out. We've got one more final thing for the news that kind of leads into tonight's topic, don't we?
Yep.
So, you got it up on screen?
Only paints. Yeah, so let's go back to the main scene here. Tell you what, there's loads of things. The more I look at this fucking... Hey! The salt shakers are working now. What the fuck?
Skullforge Studio.
Hang on a minute. What the fuck is going on here?
In partnership with Lexi Studio, a set of rules called Arsenal, the miniatures game. So
that was the other tab.
Yes.
Go on.
It is Titanfall in the same.
I bet you David's audio went again. Oh my fucking god. Right. Just hang on a minute, David. Let me just get this set up. Oh my fucking Jesus. Right, now talk.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, they can. I was just... because I went to get Arsenal up to show you. So...
Yeah. No, I wasn't ranting. So, Skullforge Studio have released this in partnership with Alexi Studio. It's a set of rules for a miniature-based mech game in a similar vein to Titanfall. I'm quite liking the look of this. I'm probably going to buy this and give this a go because I like my mechs, I like my sci-fi. But while I was diving down the rabbit hole of his website, I came across a lot of things that could possibly be considered piracy, depending upon how you look at it. So, shall we go with tonight's main topic, Ginge?
Yeah. So
have you got a bottle of rum ready? And the Jolly Roger.
No, I tell you what, I have got though. I'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, Darren. Blaster is now becoming more a release a game per magazine rather than an anthology, but I would argue better because you only get the one you want rather than being forced to buy them all.
That's fair. Whiskey, we have.
That'll do. That's a spirit talking about piracy.
So, this was actually suggested by somebody on Tabletops. I can't remember if it was it somebody DM'd me, I think it was, or commented that this would be a suitable topic. So I'll be honest, piracy is not something that I've encountered a lot of in tabletop wargaming. You're fucking kidding me. Those things are back. Go away.
What? Oh, the
right. Okay. This is not something I have encountered much of, but there are, I guess, the first thing to do is say what does piracy in tabletop gaming mean? And the one that was sort of like put out
Bandied about.
for suggested for the topic was what I would say is the most obvious form of piracy and theft, which is the physical recasting or copying of miniatures that are manufactured by somebody else. So pretty much the main black market for this sort of stuff is the Chinese recast market for Warhammer 40 or Warhammer models. Because
particularly Forge
yeah,
World.
I mean, basically anything that's got a Games Workshop affiliation, and I think the reasons, well, we'll go into that later, but so.
Oh, I meant to send you a link for this because I found an Infinity tag being cloned by a Chinese company.
Did you?
I'll go see if I can find that in a minute.
Okay, let's hopefully my audio won't die when you're browsing the internet.
But it shouldn't, because it's not your end that's browsing the internet. It's my end. Oh.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Again, because I haven't bought many sort of like old miniatures recently, Darren. Oh, did Tim pop in?
Don't know, did he?
So Darren said, "Hey Tim." Where did Tim? Hey, here he is. So
look, we're 15 minutes late to the party. Let's not keep the audience waiting any longer.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is probably the worst I would have thought, or that's the first,
the biggest offender, shall we say?
But with copying miniatures, you don't have to literally produce a physical copy, do you, mate? I mean, you mentioned about this guy who's got this range of models for this game in Blaster.
Oh, you fucker! Yeah, no, I've just found Chinese knockoff Infinity tag.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, again, it makes sense because they're relatively high value models, so I can see how there would be a reason to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Pan-Oceania cutter tag is £5.50 plus £1.96 postage.
Yeah.
So it's £7.
Yeah. What's the original? What's the actual tag on Corvus? About 70.
I'm looking now. Let me go look a minute. Corvus Belly Store, €60 basically by the time you've had shipping.
Euros. That's gone down a bit because now they're using Cyocast instead of fucking metal. But miniatures can also be pirated by the digital format, can't they, mate?
Yes, so you can 3D scan and reverse engineer the models, which I think is more egregious than the inspired by, but we'll come to that more in a minute. So the 3D scanning is still sort of an emerging technology. It is becoming more and more commonplace.
This is akin to your recasting, isn't it? It's literally digitally scanning or copying an exact model sculpted by somebody else.
Yeah.
But like you say, at the moment, it's still really expensive and tricky to do.
Yeah, it's not an easy skill set. It takes a lot to reverse engineer scan data and make something usable out of it. I've done it a couple of times in relation to work reverse engineering projects to give me something to pitch for. And it's taken me about a week to get usable, decent data out of it. And that's on something that's the size of a desk. not
just so
something
that
that's the
everybody's
size
clear,
of a
because obviously, just in case, just so everybody's
thumbnail.
clear, when David says he's scanning and reverse engineering for work, he works in a field of large scale agriculture and bulk movement management machinery. So he's not talking
Yeah.
about reverse engineering a space marine. He's talking about reverse
Yeah.
engineering something fucking huge.
Yes.
So you've got
Excuse me, tratters.
tratters. He's got you've got the people who will literally remold and recast models. You've got
Yeah.
the digital copyists, and then they can either sell prints or sell that scanned STL.
STL. Yeah.
But then you've got the thing that you've already talked about, which is people who might take digital assets out of computer games and shit like that. Because you said this guy does a lot of. Now, he doesn't necessarily rip Star Wars.
Skull Forge Studios, I think, is a guy that models it, but I have seen historically there is a game called Elite Dangerous. That is a space exploration game where there is a number of different ships. Because those files are on Steam, there are several tutorials on the internet for how to take that Steam asset and turn it into a 3D print thing, or it's available for free on Thingiverse to download your own little ship, similar to how you've got it in game, and paint it up. That, for that kind of thing, little bit cheeky because you're lifting somebody else's leg work. And time and effort and money spent on the dev process, so little bit egregious. Is the honest answer. And I mean, again, it doesn't even have to be STLs or physical miniatures here. You've got people that are scanning the rule books for released games and putting them up on the internet.
Yeah, I was going to come to that after we'd finished sort of exploring miniatures, because the other side of tabletop piracy is rules and supplements and basically anything that historically would have been only printed media. And here's from my personal perspective, the stuff that I have that is pirated is this stuff. So it may be a scanned PDF of, for example, the 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles rulebook that I've lifted off the internet somewhere. Because if I want to buy a copy of the Warhammer Fantasy Battles rulebook that's now been out of print for 25 years, that's in anything like decent condition because they fell apart 10 minutes after you bought them because the binding was toss, I will have to spend 150, 200 quid on eBay.
I mean, again, I'm in a similar vein to yourself. So, because we are great believers in try before you buy, I will quite often download a rule set if I can't get a free trial version off the developer themselves to try before I buy, and then sink my money into it if I want to play it. But there are certain reputable companies out there now that are releasing trial sets of rules or free PDFs, etc. But we'll come to that a bit more in a minute.
See, but I mean, coming back to miniatures, as well as like, because the thing is, this is the thing with piracy. You've got things that most people would argue that they obviously are piracy. You're taking something that is an original produced thing and making a copy of it, and then presumably selling it, or even if you're distributing it for free, you're still pirating that thing. But then there starts to become a whole host of grey areas, doesn't there? Like,
yeah, this inspired us. So I've already mentioned Skull Forge Studio, and he's probably the best example we have at the moment to hand. He does a lot of different things for a
Well,
lot of different
you
games
say that, Crooked
inspired
Dice.
by. Yeah, well, I was just about to come to that. But he does a lot of different things inspired for a lot of different games. He's got some Star Wars Legion. He's got some Crisis Protocol. He's got a few different things on there. But he isn't directly taking the miniature. He's taking the inspiration from the game or the environment, sculpting them himself, and then just selling them. He's got an innate talent. It's no different to somebody sculpting miniatures themselves. And then this comes on to, like you've just mentioned, 7TV, the Ghostbusters that are not Ghostbusters, the
Condor Ready
A-Team
Rub Shark.
that are not the A-Team.
Yeah. Because obviously Crooked Dice's 7TV game is geared around television and film, they're never going to get permission to, reproduce faithful miniatures for the Terminator movie or the A-Team TV series or the James Bond franchise. So what they do is they take artistic license, create models that are extremely close in appearance to certain popular TV and film characters, like Snake Plissken from Escape from New York and that sort of thing, and they give them different names. But again,
you can tell what they are. It's very close to the knuckle, isn't it?
Technically, is it piracy? Probably not. But it's starting to get into this grey area where they're sort of
skirting.
They're skirting what's legal and what's... And again, because there is the other dichotomy is what's morally acceptable and what's legally acceptable. I mean, the reason you get Chinese recasts is in China, fucking anything goes. Nobody cares.
Well, I was about to say, I have been to China once with work, with my previous role. And the best thing I remember from being in China was the knockoff Land Rovers called Landwinds. They literally got a Range Rover, took it out the back of the shop and went, right, lads, we need to remake this. Took it apart on a Friday, made all the mold tools over the weekend, and then started making it on the Monday because it's put together fucking terribly, but you can tell exactly what the fuck is inspired by.
Shark, if you can get it, get the long cut Condor. It's now discontinued here in the UK at least. It's no longer marketed here, so we can't get it. But the long cut tobacco, they take it instead of being chopped like the ready rub that I use. It's still in the flat leaf wafers as they pressed it. So you have to literally rub it yourself just prior to use. But because you rub it just before you bowl it, it keeps its moisture so much better. It's such a good smoke. So if you can get it, get that. Sorry, tangent over. Cheese Me makes a fantastic point here, and we'll have to use this. This will frame, I think, the finishing argument, Cheese Me. Piracy has two tiers, the believers and the leechers. The believers want to make stuff accessible that's maybe discontinued, limited availability, and the leechers just want shit and don't want to pay for it. That is a brilliant... Yeah, that is exactly where we were going with it. Cheese
well,
Me,
again,
spot on.
you've got elements of Mordheim. Technically, is still a copyrighted product, but it's available on the internet because it's no longer being supported by the manufacturer.
To be fair, though, I don't know how it is around the rest of the world, but in UK law, if you do not aggressively protect your copyright interests, then they can lapse. So, and I think this applies to trademarking as well. If you do not litigate and take steps to control stuff that you hold copyright and trademark for, then it can go against you if you decide to do so after a period of absence. So I don't know with Mordheim whether they could get back control of it anymore.
Yeah, but the argument being, like, look at Blood Bowl. They killed Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl was supported by the NAF and stuff for ages.
Yep.
And then they since decided that there was money back there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, again, GW have been very litigious.
Yep.
In getting inspired by stuff removed from the likes of Thingiverse, etc.
Yeah.
Like, even stuff that has been sculpted is not done from reverse engineered stuff. You can't use Space Marine, even though it's not actually a trademark owned by fucking Games Workshop, because it's Adeptus Astartes.
Well, that's why they created that term, wasn't it? I mean, you could use Space Marine, but the problem is, you said it yourself. Games Workshop are a litigious bunch of bastards with deep pockets. So most people will be like, do you know what? It's too much trouble. Just call them Battle Brothers or fucking, you know, guys in tin suits or some shit. We know what they are. The thing with piracy in the tabletop space is, I think as an individual you've got to draw your own lines and you've got to decide what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, because there are so many different scenarios that you can be in. So like, one of the reasons, let's take the example of recasting, right? Whether you're recasting in resin or metal or whatever you're doing, motivation is a factor. And there could, one of the main, I mean, you said about the Infinity Tag. The only reason that you would want to recast an Infinity Tag is because it's too expensive for your pocket and you want one for less. Okay? If you were recasting a metal fucking bloodletter from 1987 from the Citadel Miniatures range, you could be recasting that because it's an absolute gold mine, because you can sell tons of them, or you could be recasting it because you can't get them anymore.
Yeah, you just want your army that you've got from the 80s to match.
And you just want that model because it's a model that speaks to you, you know. You see, that's an interesting perspective as well. Darren says for his friends, generally, it's a firm no to pirate anything from a small or medium producer. But actually, if you're a big company, fuck them. Just paraphrasing, putting words in your mouth.
This is what we did mention, though, didn't we, in sort of the pre-stream, of certain companies do not help themselves. We are not saying piracy is justified. However, if a certain manufacturer releases 15 books a year and they're all 20 quid, and you need them all for your army that you're going out and buying the genuine for, I don't think you should feel bad for pirating the content that's in the printed books, because you've already bought all the genuine, real deal main stuff, and you need to play your games. I'm not saying that they justify them, so it's justified, but again, there are many manufacturers now releasing rules for free. So why the fuck can't other manufacturers?
Silver Bayonet. Why do you mention that, Crispin? In what context? In what do you mean Silver Bayonet would rock? I mean, I saw a video recently that was talking about the fact that you can't, because this is something that Games Workshop have done now. You used to be able to get PDF and digital editions of their rule books.
Oh, yeah. Should we mention your experience with the Frostgrave Digital Edition?
I agree, Darren. Yeah, I agree. I am the same, Shark. But then again, I think it's fair to say that everybody has to draw their own conclusions on this sort of stuff, and ultimately you've got to live with your own conscience. You know what your motivations
I mean,
are.
again, this is part of the reason why I've drifted from GW lately, and I'm doing other stuff because I don't feel comfortable going around the internet downloading things. But if I really have to, because I'm playing it once every 4 years, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Like I say, for me, PDFs are an area I will be happy to go to when I know that I can't legitimately obtain it without preposterous expense or difficulty. So, the kind of stuff that I've got is like PDFs of the Realm of Chaos books, and like I say, Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd edition, and some of the really old TSR Dungeons and Dragons modules like B10 that are again, mint print copies are like 200 quid. Yeah, probably, Shark. I mean, again though, I don't want to come across as high and mighty, because obviously, yeah, I am the kind of fucking idiot that I will cut my nose off to spite my face. I will say, no, I'm not doing it because that's somebody's livelihood. But, you know, that's not to say that everybody needs to decide the same as me. Again, I am a reasonably well-paid healthcare professional. I have more disposable income than the average individual. My kids have grown up and left home. It's not fair for me to judge what other people want to do. In that context, you know, they're not me and I'm not them. But for me, PDF's a fair game because it comes down to this. It comes down to limited availability. It comes down to what can I. And again,
actually, while we're on this limited availability front, shall we talk about the elephant in the room? So those of you that know, we mentioned earlier tonight that we played the Arkham Horror LCG recently, and we played that on Monday.
Yeah, some examples.
There is a computer game called Tabletop Simulator. It allows you to play a lot of miniature-based war games and board games at the computer with your friends. Me and a lot of the lads from club got it through the height of COVID because obviously we couldn't go to our local gaming club and game.
Yeah, it's where we discovered it, didn't it? And we played Magic on it. We did Bolt Action on it.
Frostgrave. We've done loads on it. And a lot of these things are developed as mods, i.e. people have spent the time and effort in the community doing the assets for you to enjoy and play your game. There was a mod for Arkham Horror LCG, and people were playing it through COVID, and it obviously sparked a lot of interest in the Arkham Horror LCG game.
This add-on, this mod, completely free, not monetized. Nobody was looking to exploit it and make cash from it. But it did obviously involve distributing scanned art from the card game and all of the stuff that was copyright with Fantasy Flight Games.
Fantasy Flight. So Fantasy Flight stepped in and got it took down. However, there are certain manufacturers on TTS. Wingspan is one that springs to mind. That is a paid add-on to play the Wingspan board game.
Yeah.
So Fantasy Flight, rather than being litigious, could have said, well, actually, guys, I know you've done all the work. Do you want to get involved on the team? Here's a little bit of a cut of the money, and we'll sell those assets now.
To be fair, mate, they could have just said, if you donate it to us, we'll monetize it and put it out as a legit add-on.
Yeah.
I mean, without even paying them, Fantasy Flight, because you see, those people were never expecting to be paid in the first place. They were just doing it because they loved the game and they wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I think, and do you know what? It's a great example where, and again, it's not necessarily miniatures wargaming, but it is an example of where piracy, and I think the reason Fantasy Flight didn't do that is that they were, because of COVID, they were experiencing massive production issues with the actual physical card game. So what was happening, you'd got a perfect storm of the
people
the game's
playing the
not
game, wanting to buy the game.
Exactly. Everybody's trapped at home, wants to play this game that the internet's on fire with. Nobody can fucking buy it anywhere because they can't get it made because, hey, there's a global fucking crisis, whatever. And I think that perfect storm was why they were quite so draconian about getting it taken down and removed. But I mean, another great example Tim mentioned earlier. Tim was on about if you could buy the ebook version of something, and then I'll be honest, I have got sick of buying rulebooks that I then have to replace 2 or 3 years later. Games Workshop. So when
comments won't accept the words piracy or scalping. Sorry, guys.
Why? So yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so when this ebook or PDF thing, people offering legitimate paid-for digital versions of particularly rule books that I know that are going to be reeditioned and are going to have to be replaced at some point. I'm sick of flipping books on fucking eBay. And it was Games Workshop that mainly drove this because they just constantly churned shit.
I was about to say, shall we have your experience now with the Frostgrave second edition?
So,
because first edition we all bought hard copies of the book.
Yeah. So
I bought a hard copy of the book for second edition as well. Oh, there's no sound from me apparently, or there is for Tim. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just trolling us. There's definitely sound at the moment.
But you said I'm going to get the digital edition of this because it's fine.
Yeah. So I had my physical copy of the first edition, and I thought they do an Adobe digital edition of the Frostgrave rulebook. And I knew
it was advertised if it ever gets updated, you'd get an updated copy, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, and I knew, because I'd done my research, that there weren't of a ton of changes from this edition to this edition. So I thought, well, that's fine. So it's a few quid cheaper. 50, 70, 80% of the content's the same. I'll just get the digital edition. So I bought the fucking Adobe a digital edition of this game. And I will never buy another Adobe digital edition ever again. It was fucking unusable. I'm sure Adobe digital edition works great for novels where it's just text that you resize and reflow. You've got paragraphs, chapter headings, that's it. This, anything with art, tables, resizing the view in Adobe digital editions on PC platforms, mobile devices, good luck making the fucking thing readable. It is an absolute fucking nightmare. You get tables that scoot off the page and you can't even scroll to view them. You have to piss around changing text size, zooming in, zooming out, fucking about. It made it an absolute chore. And it's like, it was such a massive technology fail for me. It put me right off it. And the thing is with that is I lose. There is an element of when people get their stuff scanned and fucking distributed online, I lose my sympathy when they produce actual DRM managed content that bad. You know?
Yes, we are, Damon. We will see you there.
Yes,
We've got
we
the
will.
entire gang
Yes,
in tow.
we
We've
will
got
see you
Spam,
at Newark.
Trebsy, and Richard as well.
So I don't know if you guys do. Any of you guys have in the chat have any experience with digital rulebooks and companies that have done it bad? You see, the only other digital stuff that I've got are all the free rule sets David's talked about. Malifaux do free rules. Infinity do free rules. You just literally pull the PDF off the company's website. One-page rules.
Hobgoblin, when they had the demo one from, what's it called?
Yeah.
The demo one as part of the Kickstarter. We gave that a try. Gave the demo rules a spin. Massively different to the actual printed rule book you get because it was a demo one. But again, we still got the legal copy of the demo one and gave it a spin and decided it wasn't for us, didn't we?
Yeah, that was more of a problem. That was a problem with the demo version. I don't think Mike.
No, I'm not saying, but
Yeah.
again, there are companies out there that are doing demo versions or rules-like versions of their war game and releasing the PDFs for free.
Yeah.
And then doing the core rules differently as well.
Yeah.
Do you use similar logic?
That's the Carnivale books have a ton of lore and extra stuff in the actual books, don't they? From
yeah.
What the hell they're called?
DZC's got a free rule book as well, etc.
I always mix them up and you shout at me. It's Wayland
TC Combat.
Warcradle and TC Combat. That's it. The two that I always mix up because I'm an old fucking brain dead idiot.
I shouted at you the other week on stream while I was in the Lake District when you got it wrong.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, fixed layout PDFs are probably the way to go with something like a Wargames rulebook because they all got very fancy layouts. And the problem with that is, of course, when it's got a fixed layout, you often are screwed by small devices. They look great on like fucking 12-inch tablets and PC screens.
But on a phone, they're virtually unusable.
They're unusable, yeah.
And I mean, we did touch on this, Darren, in our rulebook stream the other week. Of if you're going to do a PDF for your rules, make it fucking searchable for keywords, etc.
I mean,
not just scanned PDF pages, because having the load of JPEGs in a PDF is not the easiest thing to find rules.
With 10 minutes to go, we've talked about digital rules and that sort of thing. My issue with, before you buy a recast miniature or something that's literally ripped off, like an STL of a scanned fucking Forge World model or whatever, consider the other option, which is a proxy. Something that has been independently designed by somebody, even if they've taken liberties and sailed as close to the wind as they can in terms of aesthetic and, visual detail. If they've created something that's in the vein of, but not exactly the same as...
Oh, you are fucking kidding me.
What?
So, I've just gone and found this... place that does Infinity kits.
Yeah.
not only do they do Infinity kits, they do some like sculpts of bits and pieces from other stuff, but they're also ripping off the multi-award winning Moonstone.
Really?
Yes. Steam forged, what's it called? The War Machine as well. They're ripping that off.
Is it a Chinese site?
Yeah, it's a Chinese one. Yeah, it's It's through AliExpress, mate.
Yeah. So don't. Everybody's going to make their own mind up, but for me, there is no fucking need for that. Okay? If you've got bottomless pockets, the secondary market is your friend. You can buy legitimate stuff. Just be careful about buying copies, particularly if something's valuable. Do your research. But even then, if you want a fucking Terminator captain for your 40k army, there are loads of people who do chonky guys in spacesuits with big guns. You know? And some of them are great looking models. You know? Don't fucking... Certainly. And the thing is as well, for me, there's a difference between paying for something that's stolen and using something that's been distributed in a, illegitimately. Yeah. If it's free, I mean, it's like David's try before you buy. Again, for me, I'll tell you one reason I probably would never even bother, because number one, hunting down fucking PDFs on the internet is becoming increasingly difficult because they're getting very good at locking stuff down.
The only reason I say is try before you buy. Here's my caveat with try before you buy, actually, just before we come to your point.
Yeah.
If it's less than a tenner, what's the fucking point? If it's the price of a coffee or a meal, just fucking buy it, pay it, support them. If it's 60, 70 quid, yes, I will do it.
The other thing I would say is just search for it on YouTube and see if anybody's done a Let's Play. Because we've got a fantastic community of content creators. If you really want to see how a game plays, they might even do a page by page flip through the rulebook and play a game. You don't need to go and get a PDF of it. You can see how that game plays. I'm sure you can find it. Parting with your money, distributing stuff that is copied or cloned or whatever is bad enough, but to pay money and actually turn that into an industry or a black market is beyond. That's a line I don't cross. Obviously, each person can do as they see fit. The other thing is, we mentioned it briefly, didn't we, mate? Yeah. Companies do this. Again, let's be careful how we word this, because people might go a bit fucking loopy in the comments and saying it's not companies don't bring this upon themselves, blah blah blah. Okay, technically yes, you're right. Theft is theft, and it's not the victim's fault when they get stolen from. But honestly, there are mitigating factors. You don't. Yeah. I mean, I am shocked that people are recasting.
Companies do not help themselves with their pricing, their availability or quality.
FOMO.
Yeah. Or the churn of their rule books.
Yeah. I am shocked that somebody is going to the trouble of recasting Moonstone. Those models are not expensive. You don't need a huge amount of them to play the game. How the fuck can there be a market for that? I suppose this comes back to what Cheese Me said earlier. There are a group of people that he called leechers that will use any mechanism whatsoever to enjoy something without spending any money or the minimal amount of money on it.
And again, I suppose this recaster, and I'm not justifying this in the slightest, but it's his business on AliExpress. He's going to do what sells because he's in China.
Yeah, I know, but who the fuck is buying? I mean, again,
no, I'm not saying it's justified, but what I'm saying is he's viewing it as his business because unfortunately China do not have any rules in relation to copyright or piracy or shit like that. He doesn't know any better. He's just building what he views as his business bigger.
Do you know what, we mentioned this, Tim, when we were talking about the stream before we did the topic, because obviously with abandonware, they call it, don't they, with software, with computer games, when the company's bust, nobody owns the rights to any of it, it's all gone, it becomes abandonware, doesn't it? And then it's sort of like it's up to the community to keep distributing it and keep it alive. And I don't know if there is an analogy for printed media, but there should be, because it's like Tim says there, when a company has gone the way of the dodo, or the thing has got no rights, nobody owns the rights to it, where you can distribute it. That sort of fan-based stuff, that's the sort of stuff that wouldn't trouble me. I've got a lot of the old Mordheim supplements and the fan-created lists and like the Lustria stuff. I don't own any of it in print. It's all PDFs that I've got off, fan sites and that sort of thing. But it's dead.
Again, Spam's just sort of hit the nail on the head here. Certain people will cut corners in the hobby because they don't want to pay the expense or support the little one.
Yeah, but again, I guess you're right. I ultimately,
not everybody necessarily has the level of disposable income or time that me and you have.
I guess so. They're even. I mean, you're right. I mean, what do you think it would cost to get into Moonstone? 50 quid? 60?
Well, we both did it.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 60, wasn't
yeah.
it?
2 boxes, because you need 2 boxes and maybe a rule book between 2 people.
Yeah.
Minimum. So you 50 or 60. I suppose what you're saying is there are still people for whom 50 or 60 quid is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's 6 hours. It's just under 6 hours at Mackey's. It's nearly a full day's shift.
The thing is, I know what you're saying, but my pushback on that is, but look at the value you get out of that. How many games can you play with fucking 10 models and a rulebook?
I am not saying that. I am gobsmacked that the multi-award winning Moonstone is being pirated.
That seems Infinity is an expensive game.
Yeah. Infinity is expensive because it's all in metal, and also there is quite a cult following, particularly out in China, for that manga style and aesthetic.
And
this is the other thing.
And not in defense of the guy who's doing this, but in acknowledgement, Corvus often struggle to keep their own stuff in stock because they've got a massive product range and they're still a relatively small company, so they suffer from the same issue with Games Workshop, where a lot of their unusual blisters and models are out of stock a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So again, you get that double whammy of limited availability and high price, which is where these guys move in. Ultimately, if you're a company...
again, the one thing we haven't touched on, and I know we're just coming to the end of time, but I did mention it. When it comes to like playing at a bolt action tournament or whatever, Warlord don't care if you're playing with their stuff, Rubicon cheats, whatever. It's in a historical. It's not really piracy because most of the graphics and the layouts for that are online for sizing, etc. And I saw in the Warlord group the other day, somebody complained to Warlord customer service because the front of their Jeep was literally fucking split up in two and had a whacking great, nearly 5mm thick seam running down the front of the grill, Warlord turned around and went, yeah, mold slipped during production, that's acceptable. I'm sorry, but I paid 30 quid for my fucking Jeep. You can fuck right off, my friend.
I'm surprised at that. That doesn't sound to me like a typical Warlord response.
I know it doesn't, because Warlord seemed to bend over backwards for you at the shows, etc.
Yeah,
But it was
it
backed
just
up
doesn't
with the
match with
screenshot of
other
the
anecdotal
email.
stuff I've heard. That was something off. Was that on a Reddit or something?
No, it's on a Facebook post, and there was a screenshot of the attached email where they justified the slippage.
Did they still replace it or fix it?
No, they said it's your problem to sort out. I don't know whether it was because the guy was out in the States or what. But
put in the comments below if you've had bad experiences with Warlord, because anecdotally, and I know that's no evidence based to base anything on, working in healthcare, we don't do fucking anecdotal. But I haven't heard a huge amount of people who've had shit from Warlord in terms of like no quality control. I mean, again, I think Darren said it not long ago. Ultimately, it doesn't matter how expensive things are. There is probably a cheaper way to do it. I mean, fucking hell. Even if the Moonstone minis are too expensive for you, go to a local fucking toy shop, buy some fucking, I don't know, Sylvanian Families figures, or go to a car boot sale and buy some Sylvanian Families figures, and then just download, because aren't the cards all free on Weird's Moonstone website?
not sure. I know
I'm
they
fairly,
ship them in the box.
I've got a feeling that all of the stuff is free on their website. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm sure Jerry has said that everything is free.
I know.
The miniatures are literally the only fucking thing they make you pay for.
It's all free on the site, so
Yeah.
Darren.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you're just taking the piss.
I am shocked that the multi-award winning Moonstone's being pirated. Like, I am genuinely shooketh.
Yeah.
And I am probably going to send a screenshot of this AliExpress listing to what's it called?
Something
Goblin.
Yeah, Grinning Goblin or something Goblin Games.
Whatever it is, and say, look, just so you're aware, this is going on.
Yeah, it takes the piss. There's no need for that. And it's not because he's a small producer. It's because his game isn't fucking expensive. You know what I mean? Because the thing is that pisses me off is that I know the same people who will say, oh, 60 quid for a few fucking miniatures, they're probably the same people who just bought the latest Call of Duty Spec Ops 6 for 70 quid. AAA fucking gaming title. Or have got like a 1,200 quid gaming PC. It's like, yeah, that's not expensive. But you're not spending 60 quid on some miniatures. Fuck off. Taking the piss, son. Anyway.
It's a very subjective.
Okay, Tim.
Topic.
Okay. We get the hint.
Everybody has where they're going to draw their own lines on it. But I think the takeaway is go and support the indies. Go and support the little boutique stuff.
Yeah.
However that may be, you don't have to support by spending money. Referencing stuff, advertising to people, saying, oh, have you seen this, etc., getting people talking about it. You might not make a purchase at 60 quid, for example, but somebody else might make a £180 purchase based on your recommendation.
Yeah. Again, just be an advocate for something that you enjoy.
And again, that's kind of my point summed up in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah. Just be an advocate for something that you enjoy. Look, let's finish it. Great topic. I wish I could remember who suggested it. I don't know if it was Tuffy Ears or Ewok or somebody suggested it to me on OTT. Might have been Cheese Me. Whoever you are, you know who you are. Thank you very much for suggesting the topic.
If guys have suggestions and ideas, again, messages, emails, even the comment section down here, we do read them. We do listen to you guys.
Yeah.
So
just and we don't often say this with our streams, just in case. Number one, comment definitely down below. We always welcome interaction. The only thing I want to say is this is something where everybody makes their own decisions on the moral, the right, the wrong, the moral and the not of it. Let's try not to have a bear pit of people tearing the shit out of each other down below. If somebody comes to a decision or a conclusion that differs from yours, set out your stall, leave that as it is. Personal attacks aren't helpful, and you're probably not going to change anybody's mind. Lead by example, not by vilification.
Yeah, not by lynch mobbing people.
Honestly, no, it won't work. Yeah. Thank you very much. Awesome people in the chat here. Thank you very much. They're the guys who make this stream worthwhile for us. Thank you so much for being here. If you're joining us later on YouTube, thank you so much as well for your time and your attention. And we hope that you found the last couple of hours entertaining and of value. And you hope you got more work than I did, because I managed to smoke half a pipe, drink half a glass of whiskey, and do pretty much fuck all else. So that's pretty much me on message and on brand.
I got about 70% of a building built. So...
Bastard. Yet again, beaten. Damn you, Smith. Right, if you can only find time to do one thing, click the like button, please, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. I know I'm not trying to pay my mortgage or my rent off this, but do you know what? Just a bit of recognition makes it all that more enjoyable. If you can do any of the other shit that's listed below, share, comment, subscribe, then that's amazing. And whatever gives you value, you do. No pressure. And I think that's us done. And we'll be back for another stream.
The only thing worth mentioning, just before you go for the next stream thing.
Don't forget painting competition.
Partisan on Sunday.
Yes.
And painting competition is Omen.
We didn't get to give a lot of time to it. But yeah, David is 100% right. The other Partisan show, Newark Showground here in the UK, 10 till 4, isn't it, mate? Sunday? 13th?
Yeah, 10 till 4 on Sunday.
We will be there. It's £5 to get in. Great day out. Parking's easy. Transport access is really good on the A1, A17. Come and give it a show. Right. Time to go. Night, everybody.
Bye, guys.